You guys don't know where I am, but I found a guy that's trying to steal my idea on the 10EE. He's gotten quite a bit fancy work done over here. I don't see any rails yet. Maybe I can sell him mine. He's over here laughing. This is a guy that's been on Practical Machinist for years and years and years and years. He's too ashamed of his name to use it, so he uses this jumble of numbers and letters. 4G, yada, 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 yada. What is it?
4GSR.
4GSR.
It has a model number of a machine tool that LeBlanc Machine Tool used to build for the U.S. government to build gun barrels with.
So not only did you steal ideas from LeBlanc, you stole my rail idea here.
Hey, wait a minute here.
He goes by Ken also. Now, I met Ken in person for the first time at the first ever Richard King scraping class at my shop 10 years ago.
It's been at least.
It's been 10 years ago. He's the man that made famous the number 6 rule in Richard's scraping rules. Number 6 is you don't park on the grass. Ken was kind of late to the class one morning, and he parked on my wife's grass.
Hey, I was just barely on the edge of it.
It didn't matter. After about 15 minutes of sitting there calmly in the shop, all of a sudden the side door flies open, and my lovely wife, stands about 5'6", is standing there with fire in her eyes going, "Who parked on my grass?" Now, she had been pruning with her butcher knife at the time and didn't realize she still had it in her right hand. Ken realized it. His eyes got big, and I didn't think an old guy like us could move that fast as he ran out and moved that car.
Yeah, I just kind of slithered out.
Yeah. She's still looking for you, by the way, so don't worry. Well, anyway, Ken lives down in Victoria, Texas. And I've been meaning to stop by here, and heck, I was going to a job and I drive right by, so I stopped. Let's see what I could steal. Ken,
you didn't bring a big enough trailer.
I'm going to need a bigger truck. Time tool maker. His dad had an Axelson lathe. Oh, so he's got good breeding.
So Dad used to have a machine shop up there in Conroe many, many years ago, and we worked in it off and on. And of course, we went off on our own. I've been working as a product engineer for an oil field manufacturing company ever since, and hopefully get to retire here in the next couple of years.
I tried that once.
I don't see any chance in it, but
it didn't work.
Dream.
Anyway, I was in here, and Ken seems to have all kinds of stuff crammed in here. He's got a 2-car garage, and from sitting here, I can see a mill, a big bandsaw, this lathe that he's rebuilding. There's a grinder over there. There's another lathe tailstock I could see through the...
Yeah, there's another 14-inch lathe.
14-inch, and right. We'll go look at that too.
Yeah.
So what do you do with all this stuff? Collect it?
Well, I collect it, but I just like rebuilding machines. I've done it. It's kind of a trait my dad did back in his days working in Houston.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, and we drag home old iron, mess with it, get tired of it, we'd toss it to the side, get something
else.
And,
sort of like me. Well, this is a Sheldon, right?
Yeah, this is a 15-inch Sheldon lathe. I picked up secondhand. It's pretty trashed out when I got it. paid a fortune for it. Of course, you know, what do you expect? And
They saw you coming.
they saw
Yeah.
it. And so I literally stripped this lathe down all the way to bare bones. Took a needle scaler, like you mentioned, and needle scaled all the paint off of it. And of course, I'm not a person that bondos everything and makes it all look nice and pretty. I just take,
What's Bondo?
I don't know what it is. I've never used it.
Never used it.
And I just take that Rust-Oleum smoke gray and put a coat of it on there and call it good.
Well, you go one step farther, paint.
Yeah.
I make them work, and then painting sometimes ends up second. That's what I'll do when I retire. Yeah.
And, you know, talking about the paint, you know, I like to put a little paint on there if I can, but it's not a have to.
Don would have this thing painted, probably textured, and maybe a flyer box on that side over there. Sorry, Don. All right. The one that's interesting about this has hardened ways too, just like the 10EE does. And you've ground some of this.
Yes, I ground the ways that the carriage rides on. And my first attempt at this was using linear ways
Right.
mounted out on the outside of the lathe bed. And the problem with those round lathes that they sell, they don't.
They're not accurate.
They're not accurate in straightness. And I fought with it, trying to get it as close as I could, and which wasn't close enough, but it let me get a grind job put on it. And it doesn't cut as accurate as I want it to, so that's the reason you're seeing the newer version of the sled that I've built.
This is what he would ride on the rails that he made. Now his rails were coming off of the tailstock ways in there in the middle.
Yeah.
Now my idea is to mount my rails in a C fixture right here, come out way outboard so I get something that's got a big wide base.
Yeah.
And I don't care about their rails at all because I'll be able to adjust that rail to be perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm going to grind that rail, and it's made out of that heavy cast iron. So we're going to have a rail that's perfect.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll take care of that problem that you ran into. Yeah. But you made a nice little sled.
Yeah. What I did, the reason I'm riding off the tailstock ways, those two ways on this lathe, believe it or not, have very, very little wear. There may
So
be
they're perfect.
1,000 wear on them. So that makes it perfect. And I'm not worried about 1,000 because regardless what I do to it, it'll be better than what it was before. It won't be factory perfect, but it'll be perfect enough to do what I want it to.
And a lot of times that's better than it was when the factory made it.
And believe me, I picked up on funny things in that bed where I know for a fact it wasn't machined very good to begin with. And the way Sheldon built these lathes, those beds were set up on a planer. They set several beds end to end on a planer. It probably had a 20-foot stroke on it. And they plane it, do the rough planing on it before they
ground
the
them.
heat treat.
Then come back and grind them.
Then come back and grind them. And these old planers had wear in them far end. And you can actually you can actually do measurements from the underneath sides there.
Right.
And realize that all of a sudden you get down there towards the end and it just all of a sudden makes a
stroke
downward. So that's when I started figuring out that this must have been on the tail end of
the end of their planer.
End of their planer. So, but anyways, that's some of the things you find out.
All kinds of things that are nice down there. My gosh.
Oh, don't go down in the dungeon. Down.
Why not?
Don't tell what you.
Looks like you bought yourself a V4.
Yeah, it's a little V4 mag-based drill.
Haven't used it yet, so we don't know if it's any good or not.
It turns on.
It turns on.
Yeah, magnet works. So
Magnet works. Okay.
I know that much. So
What kind of
that's a Grob bandsaw.
a Grob bandsaw?
Yeah. I picked that up down in Brownsville a couple years back, and I took your advice on those metal steel wheels that you bought for one of your machines, and got them mounted on the bottom of this bandsaw.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Roll them around.
Roll it around. Makes it nice.
That's all you can do. Let's go over there, see what goodies I could pocket over there. You see, guys, you can make a shop in almost any space. He has got so much storage. Then underneath there's stock down there.
Yeah, so nothing.
Open. Yeah. Now I know where to come.
Yep.
Do you have a security system, sir?
3 dogs.
3 dogs? I can take care of them. They like me.
Couple of shotguns.
Got a little X Plus printer.
Yeah, that's my son's. He plays with
He
that.
plays. At least he's out here playing.
Yeah. Of course, we've taken and
Yeah, this was interesting.
Yeah.
Tell us about this gear here.
well, this Sheldon Lathe, when I got it, Sheldon used to put a fiber gear here and here. Well, somewhere down back up the line, this lathe's been in several wrecks over the years. So them gears got replaced with steel gears.
Pretty loud.
Oh, it's loud. Yeah. So what we did, we played around and printed some carbon fiber gears. I had to put a hex in there because we made a bushing, steel bushing that has a keyway cut in it, because these are driven gears, driver and driven. And we didn't feel like putting a 3D printed keyway in there would hold up. Matter of fact, I know it wouldn't hold up.
So by going to hex, you made a really nice keyway.
Yeah. And so far, gears held up real good. And I've cut some pretty healthy threads using this lathe. I made a thread gauge, and that's all heat treated material and cut on here. And
It's pretty dang good. I'm looking. Get that hand away, sir. Sir.
You don't look at it too close. It's terrible.
$10, I can make that fuzzy.
But I use that to make these threaded back plates.
Mm-hmm.
And those back plates are made out of cast iron. So,
Looks pretty cool to me.
Yeah. And but anyways, coming back over here.
Hey, Don, there's aisles in this place. Don doesn't like aisles.
But what I'm doing is building back plates to put on this lighting head that I bought. And it's an ongoing project. I found a set of plates for it, and I got to make a set of fingers to put on here. And then I'm going to do the piece going through the
center,
center,
the axle,
so I can do differential indexing with it. And of course, what do you do with that thing? Well, I got it if I need it.
That's part of it. It's sort of like the accessory catalog on a manual. Look what else you could have.
Yeah.
And then I spend my life trying to find all those things.
Right.
More toolboxes.
Yeah.
Oh, look here, guys.
They're all cool. And, yeah, this was my dad's 90 South Bend lathe when he was a kid, and us 3 sons have learned to run it that's where we, started the machine trade and how we know how to run a lathe.
Hey, there. I sold my South Bend Heavy 10 about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that lathe.
I kicked myself in the butt. You could do a lot with that thing.
I've cut a lot of iron on this lathe.
I was looking today. I've got some 8-inch collars I made for 8-inch pipe on mine for roller bearings for a 4x4 square tube to go into 8-inch pipe as a gate. You could do it. It took forever, but it was done. He's also has a laundry service out here. I don't know. There you are. Are you back to see me, little dog? No, I am not pocketing anything. This is your security sergeant?
Yeah, that's why I know.
What kind of treats do you like?
Oh, she loves anything.
Can you be bribed? Okay.
Oh, yeah, she'd be bribed, no doubt.
And you got a nice, oh boy, that is all polished up. Rockwell?
Yeah, that's a little Rockwell lathe I bought. It was trashed out too, but at least the bed ways were in good shape on this one. And essentially all I did was re-scrape and fit everything back to decent shape.
That's handy to have, a rack up there.
Yeah. Of course, I had to make that high enough to contain all the shavings, so my wife would complain about
shavings in the underwear. It's not a good thing to have.
Yes, shavings in your bare feet are not good either.
Here's a grinder over here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a little brown and sharp 6x12 grinder.
What did you do? Put a VFD on it?
Yeah, have a VFD on it. The original motor was a 575 volt motor. Of course,
that's kind of hard to deal with down here in Canada.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
This grinder came out of Steel Case Company. That was up there in Wichita, up there on the Canadian side. And anyways, the motor went. I threw the motor out and found a nice little motor to put in there to replace it. And, I run it on a poly V belt. It runs pretty nice. Yeah.
I like your little shop cranes.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not made to pick up a lot, but they're made to pick up vices, rotary tables, the heavy items we can't pick up anymore.
I'll help you pick up some of them if you want me to. No?
No.
Damn.
My rotary table down there is 200 plus pounds.
I have one of those. No, I'm not going to help you with that one.
Yeah, it kind of puts a hernia on the mill when I put it up there on the table.
Droop those sides.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show you can put a lot of stuff in here.
Oh.
And when you die, Don and I will have to come down here and help your wife get rid of all this.
Oh.
No? What are you making there?
That's a taper attachment that I've been working on to put on this 90 South Bend lathe.
Ah.
Yeah. It's got ball bearings in it, like old Monarch taper attachment, like on your 1080. And one of these days I'll get back on it and finish it up and get it put on that lathe. And I've already got a crossfeed screw on that 9 inches.
It's got the long one? Yeah.
So I've made it.
Made it telescopic. Okay.
Yeah, I made it telescopic.
Well,
so
that'll be
you don't
nice.
have to disconnect the nut and all that on that 9 inch. So.
Well, it looks like some nice work.
Yeah, it turned out pretty nice. Of course, I won't tell you about the screw ups.
We don't talk about screw ups on my channel. No, we don't. Not at all. In fact, I don't think we've ever had a screw up.
I picked up these little drill presses here this last month, and I picked this one up first, and the spindle on it had a little slop in it, and wasn't too happy with it, but I got it all cleaned up, but there's no manufacturer's name on there, but it has the name Kimray Inc. on there, where it came, which is, Kimray is a company that makes liquid level
Bubbles.
for the
Yeah.
oil gas separators out in the oil field.
Okay.
And apparently that came out of their plant. So
Obviously, you think somebody like me would come into your shop and you're prepared, or do you just like locks?
I like collecting locks.
Okay.
And one of my little side things is doing lock picking,
Ah,
and that's the reason for all that. And,
I learned how to do that.
I still can't pick a lock.
Oh, I got good at it. I carried the set with me when I was working, and you know, paramedics, firefighters get called to a lot of medical alarms.
Oh yeah.
And instead of breaking down doors and stuff,
Pick the lock.
two little picks and you're in pretty quick.
Yeah.
I saved a lot of money not tearing up people's houses. South Bend Lathe Company.
Yeah, I picked that up off eBay years back. And,
Well, you got a lot of stuff that I coveted.
I'll be sure to add your name to my will.
Okay, that's Steve Watkins.
I'll tear the will up the day before I die.
I know it. Well, I found out you don't know when you're going to die, and at the time it really doesn't matter what you're going to do.
I'll put your name on my Christmas list.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, every Monday I could show up and haul off some, and pretty soon you'd have a nice garage again.
My wife
Will help me. Okay, it's 2-1. Well, Ken, I got to go back to Houston.
Okay, well.
And I enjoyed seeing your stuff.
Okay, well.
You do a lot of nice work.
Well, thank you, and I enjoyed your visit and appreciate you coming by here.
You're the first one that's ever said that. Congratulations. All right, Ken.
Okay.
See you guys later.